Hi everybody, welcome to another conversion video from EDMIKA.com. This is the instructional video to convert the 85 1.2 SSC Aspherical to EF mount using an EDMIKA kit. This is a fantastic lens with amazing bokeh, my single favorite lens to shoot with. And it is fully reversible, so you can go to the EDMIKA mount and then undo it and move back to the original mount if you ever want to sell it original. Alright, let's get going. Now the EDMIKA mount kit comes with the ED mount, the outer ED traveler, the inner ED traveler, the ED bushing, ED link, a new ED stop, and 4 fasteners. I highly recommend you purchasing on eBay a JIS type cross point screwdriver, type size 00. I like Moody. They're under $10. It looks like a Phillips head screwdriver, but it's actually a Japanese industrial standard, and it will not strip the heads on your fasteners as easily as a Phillips will. So the first step is you need to remove the mount. Now this mount is harder to remove than a normal bayonet mount. So what you need to do is you need to make sure that your aperture control ring is set at A. So you turn it and then you press the button and you turn all the way until it clicks into the A position. Also, you need to make sure the lens is as far out as possible. Then what you're going to do is unscrew the 3 screws. Now, to access them, you press this button here. Let me reposition the camera closer. Let's see. I have room for my screwdriver. To release the ring, you press that trigger down and you'll be able to turn it and you'll access your first screw. As well as your second. And then you turn it to access your third and final screw. Okay, so now you'll notice you can't just pull it out. At this point, you will push this all the way until it clicks. So once you've done those 3 screws, and it's important to keep the silver ring in this orientation where you access the 3rd screw. What I then did was I pushed this until it clicked, and then you just jiggle it a bit and then you pull it out, or else it'll get this lever likes to get stuck. There's only one way to get it out, and it's through that slot. So it's important that you have the lens fully out, that your aperture set to automatic, and that when you undo the 3 screws, you then push that lever out. You'll also notice right now this little pin fell out. You don't need that anymore. Just keep it in case you want to convert the lens back to original. It's the auto aperture ring, and that's how you remove the mount. So next step, I will show you how to remove this. You need to remove the rear spherical element from the rear mount. This is what the ED Traveler holds. Now in this one, normally I recommend calipers, but calipers aren't deep enough to reach the two slots in the in this. So this one doesn't require a lot of force, but this is where you're going to want to use some scissors, or if you have any, it's called a lens spanner tool, to access those slots. And once you get it started, you can do it by hand. This is hard for me to see because I'm looking through my camera viewfinder instead of directly on it. So I've loosened it, and then at that point I can grab the top and bottom. Now, some of you may not like the fingerprints of sleeves, but you can clean them off after, to remove this rear spherical element. Now you leave it in, you do not take this metal part off. The metal and the glass is one unit. So now you're done with this. Now the next step you will take the outer edge traveler, and you're going to place it on, or you need to make sure that the slots for this rear spherical element are facing up. You just pop that in so it's nicely seated, so you can see that it's partially, you see right now it's not seated there. Now it's nicely seated. Then you place that on there. Now it's important that you look here, there's an undercut. That undercut is where it clicks together. So that this undercut goes down like that and catches, it clicks together with this inner head traveler, clicks together with the outer head traveler. A little bit closer here. That's it. Now you push out and you can see it springs out and back in. That's why they call it an edge traveler. Although it looks like I pushed it. These spring fingers have got a little bit bent, but it's still working. Let me just correct them. I'm just outside of the camera and I'm just popping these spring fingers out just so that there we go. This is very resilient material. And even if you were for some reason were to break one or two or even 5 of these things off, it will not affect the performance. But now this is put together. So this is a good time. You can what you would do is clean this as best you can, both sides, especially the inside, because the outside you'll always have access to and you can clean. But this mount is now ready as a mount. The next step is you need to connect this aperture control ring to the inside goalposts. See, these inside goalposts, they control this the aperture. So this is the connection between here and there type thing. So I am going to take these screws off and keep them, those screws you will reuse. It's handy having a screwdriver that's magnetic. And this is where you use the EDD Link. And so what you need to do is you need to make sure that it goes in between the goalposts. And I can hear my stomach grumbling. I'm hungry, sorry. Now you'll reuse those two screws. Make sure that it's in the goalposts. There we go. Now you see you've got aperture control. Now, one problem though, right now there's no hard stop, and this puts some force into this goalpost, so I don't like that. It works, but that's why I developed this EDD stop. This means that you can crank it really hard all the way, one way and the other, and there will be no chance of bending a goalpost or damaging an EDD link. So remove these two screws. Try not to drop it into the lens. And take this EDD stop and mount it in its place. One of these screws is longer than the other, but it doesn't really matter which. I just put them back in the original holes, but you can put one here or one here, doesn't matter. So now this stops against here, and you can really crank it. So we've connected the EDD link, the EDD stop. We've put into the mount the bushing, the EDD traveler, and we're ready to put it together. So before you do, you're going to want to clean like smudge marks like that using proper cleaning cloth, and potentially some water with some slight amount of vinegar in. I like to use that, helps really degrease it. Whatever you like to use to clean your lenses. So it's really important to clean these inside parts first. So assuming I've already done that, all you basically do now is you need to make sure this thing gets put on the right way. Now, this has a small pocket here in case you want to put a chip on at some point. This still fits the old dandelion chips, which I don't carry anymore because they don't work very well on a lot of the new bodies, especially for video. But this here is the bottom of the mount, and the top of the lens is always this marking here where the scale is. So this portion here where the chip goes is on the opposite side of that marking. So that'll help you figure out which holes line up where. And now you do not use the original screws, you use my replacement screws that I send with the kit. And you attach them. that's it. And when it gets near infinity, you can see the head traveler gets raised. Now this is a good time to make sure everything's clicked together properly. And now I'm just touching the outside of the lens, in which you can easily clean. And you're ready to use it on an EOS body. Now this does contact full frame bodies. The 5D Mark III, it doesn't really contact, it's close, but the 5D Mark II and 6D, it does contact. So if you're going to be shooting really far, near infinity, what you want to do is switch to live view above 10 meters type thing. If they do contact, it's not going to do any damage. And that's basically it. That's how you convert. It comes with 4 screws. This is a spare. That's how you convert the fantastic 85 1.2 aspherical lens to EF mount. If you want to purchase these kits, you can buy them on EDMIKA.com. Thanks a lot.